This ghost ship on the Ohio River was a yacht that was used in both World War I and World War II. It is known as the Celt, Sightseer, and Circle Line V, but we know her best as the USS Sachem. The Sachem started its journey in 1901 in Wilmington, Delaware. Intended as a luxury steam yacht, it was built by the Pusey and Jones Company, a major shipbuilder at the time. Opened in 1848, the Pusey and Jones shipyard was in activity until 1959. During its operating years, they made more than 500 vessels, racing sailboats, sloops, cargo ships, war sloops for the Civil War, warships, and luxury yachts. The steam yacht was ordered in 1901 under the name of Celt by the famous businessman John Rogers Maxwell of Manhattan. He was one of the wealthy figures of the late 19th century. John Roger Maxwell had a stunning mansion and gardens on the coast of Long Island. He was the chairman of the executive committee of the Central Railroad of New Jersey and president of the Atlas Portland Cement Company for many years. The Atlas Portland Cement Company is known for having supplied the materials for the construction of the Panama Canal and the Empire State Building. The construction of the Celt, that would later become the Sachem, started by the laying of the keel at the end of 1901 at the Pusey and Jones Yard in Wilmington. The steel-hulled ship was the hull number 306. 100 frames were added on the keel in January of 1902, followed by the exterior plates, engine, planked decks, fittings, and furnitures in that order. The yacht was equipped with a 4-cylinder triple expansion steam engine by John W. Sullivan, fed by 2 Olmy water tube coal boilers. This gave the engine the capability of delivering 1,200 shaft horsepower and a speed of more than 15 knots. The boilers had a reserve of 42 tons of bunkered coal on 2 sides of the lower deck. The whole construction took only 5 months, after which the vessel was christened and launched as the Celt on April 12, 1902. The christening ceremony was sponsored by Elizabeth Hunter Pusey. As an experienced yachtsman and owner of notable racing yachts, he owned at least 27 boats from 1865 to 1910. John Rogers Maxwell, also a longtime member of the Atlantic Yacht Club and the Corinthian Yacht Club, used the Celt around New York Bay and Long Island Sound as pleasure craft, a tender for his sailing yachts, and it was also a perfect summer home. The Celt was intended to be the flagship of his racing fleet. Furthermore, this vessel was the toast of the whole New York coastline for nearly a decade. The strike of World War I induced a turning point for the world, including the United States and the Sachem. Germany's tactic to defeat Britain was to block supply lines coming from North America. Indeed, the supplies for the Allies entered Europe through Britain. Germany would attempt to besiege Britain, provoke starvation and economic weakness. The newly invented war submarine, the U-boat, was deployed massively in the Atlantic to dissuade Allied convoys to reach British harbors. In March 1917, on the behalf of the U.S., would anyway enter the war. The German Kaiser adopted an unrestricted warfare policy in which U-boats crews were required to target and sink any ship that was suspected to carry supplies to the Allied. As the United States prepared to join the Allied side, a counterattack method had to be fought against submarines and kind weapons that would strike without warning, and that was, for the time, extremely hard to detect. So, the U.S. Navy began requisitioning private crafts for rent. The yachts were more versatile in size, speed, maneuverability, enough to outmaneuver and spot German U-boats, and would constitute perfect fleet auxiliaries. The Sachem was one of these private yachts, requisitioned by the Navy in July 3rd of 1917, and renamed the USS Sachem, SP-192. They equipped the USS Sachem with modern maritime navigation, removed the masts, sealed the ornate brass, fringed the portholes, and raised the sides to make it ocean-worthy. SP-192 was outfitted with depth charges, racks, and defensive armament. One 6-pounder 57mm deck gun, a pair of 3-pounder 37mm guns, and 2 light machine guns. The USS Sachem was placed in service on August 19th of 1917 under the 3rd Maritime District and assigned to harbor patrol. The ship patrolled the spot submarines east coast, the Florida Keys, and sometimes down to the Caribbean. During World War I, Edison would help the U.S. Navy, promising to develop submarine and torpedo detection systems and ship camouflaging systems. Edison needed an operable floating laboratory. After searching for a suitable boat to charter, the Navy gave him the USS Sachem. On December 7, 1941, Japan launched a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor. Facing greater threats, the Navy faced a need of patrol boats and used the second time their right to requisition private yachts. Painted with a haze gray paint scheme, upgraded in speed, visibility, armor plating, and equipments, and armed with one naval 3-inch 23 caliber naval rifle on the aft deck, 4 50 caliber M2 water-cooled Browning machine guns for anti-aerial defense, 1 small Thompson machine gun on the bridge, and 2 Mark 6 depth charge racks on the sides. July 1st, 1942, the USS Phenakite was commissioned. An interesting side note to the story that in 1986, a limousine with the representative of Madonna pulled up and asked if they can film the Sachem in the background for the music video of Papa Don't Preach.